Thank you for joining Cancer Support Community Atlanta for this program. Please visit our website, cscatlanta.org, for a complete list of live and recorded events. We invite you to sign up for our newsletter to stay connected to all future programs.
Good to see everybody. All right. Hi. Okay. Well, today we are making. We're going to play with jackfruit, as promised. We're going to make jackfruit tacos. We have a cowboy caviar. It is not fishy. And we're making a cashew crema for the tacos. So we're going to make this cowboy, or Texas caviar is another name for it. If you guys go online and look these things up, like all the recipes that we use here, you're going to find a lot of different versions of things, especially this one, right? This one a lot of times has corn as well. Corn, it's February, so corn is not really great right now. I really want to use fresh corn if I'm going to make this salad, raw fresh corn that I would put right into the salad. Canned corn, not so great. And frozen corn, not so great. So I just want to be honest. We're going to admit that, but we're going to jazz it up. I did equal parts black beans and black-eyed peas. Smells good. So the oven is acting weird right now, so I'm sorry. There we go. So black-eyed peas, black beans, green onion, red bell pepper, some jalapeno, Roma tomatoes, which we're going to use these little sugar bomb things that I bought at Publix. They're just really, really good right now. Better than Romas, better than other fresh tomatoes. Again, it's February, right? So we got to think about what's in season, what's going to taste really good. So I picked those. And then a small little dressing to go with that, equal parts olive oil, red wine vinegar, and a little bit of honey. Does that sound good to everybody on here? Is there something you guys don't like? Everybody, any allergies today with anything? No? We're good? Awesome. Yeah, so that looks good. I put optional ingredients on the bottom again, corn, avocados. I bought avocados. I was hoping they would ripen up. I bought the ripest ones I could. They're not going to work today. Some people even put rice in it. So if you cook some rice, cool it down, put it in a salad, kind of bulks it up a little bit. So beans and rice, if there was a dietitian in here, would tell you that's a really good combination to have together. I did buy cilantro, but I'll keep that on the side. I guarantee there's somebody in here that can't eat cilantro. Yeah, there you go. I knew it. Not a big deal. Tastes like soap, right? Yeah. It's okay. So that's a really fun, easy salad. It's great in the summertime. It's great in the wintertime. I bought some chips to go with it. We can eat it like dip. You can see it's really easy. Make it the day before if you want. Put it in the refrigerator. Great. Okay. Any questions on that? No? Cool. The jackfruit taco. So everybody Googled jackfruit before the class. Check it out. See what it is.
No, I didn't. I was afraid I wouldn't like it.
So jackfruit is, Southeast Asia. It's a huge fruit, right? They're really abundant. They grow. You can get up to 500 fruit per tree. They're huge, right? They're green and they have all these little spiky things. When they're ripe, they're really, really sweet. They're really good. We're using green jackfruit. So I bought canned. You can buy canned at Whole Foods. You can online at Amazon. I even saw Publix had jackfruit, 3 different varieties. They were already flavored. One was flavored with barbecue. Maybe there was a Hawaiian one and one other one. I can't remember what it was. But they're over in that vegan section that they have, the little thing in the produce area. So this jackfruit, I bought it in a can. It comes in a brine. So what I did, if you follow the recipe, exactly, it'll work out for you as well. Drain it out of the brine, right? And then put it in fresh water. Boil that water. Boil the jackfruit 30 minutes. It helps get some of that just weird briny flavor out of there. Who knows how long it's been sitting in brine, right? I boiled it for 30 minutes. Yes. Yep. And then I strained it, right? And then I have some here that I've already prepared some because I knew the class was going to be large. Yeah, that's what it looks like in the bowl. Uh, so it looks like that right out of the can. Yeah, it didn't change shape. It didn't change texture, nothing. It did soften a little bit, which we wanted to, right? But I wanted to make it on a stovetop for you. There's directions. I believe I added directions on how to make it in an oven, which is pretty easy. Put on a sheet pan. You'll see it when it comes out. It's just chilling in there right now. It's been cooking for about an hour. So it gets nice and crispy in the oven. Stovetop will work. You know, it might not get as crispy or it'll take you some more time. But I figured I wanted you guys to see the process. So we're going to, I mean, it's a cooking demo, so you have to see some things. That's what it's all about. And I also wanted to show you there's different ways. So, you know, if you're by yourself, you may not want to fire up your oven for one person or even two people. You can make it on the stovetop. It's easy, right? Lots of good things in here. If you Google jackfruit taco, you're going to find so many different recipes, different ways. I sort of like this one the best. Not just because I wrote it, but it's kind of pulled from many different recipes that we've used over the years and found ways that makes it really good. The boiling thing is really important. It really gets that briny stuff out of there and makes it taste more like meat, right, after we're cooking it. So again, options down there for this could be, these are topping options, right? Avocado, red onion, cilantro, lime. I mean, you can put corn on there, whatever you want, whatever you like on your taco. Salsa, you know. Yes, ma'am. So yeah, can you boil it in advance? That's a good question. Yeah, you can boil it in advance, and then you're going to strain it out of that water and then put it in the refrigerator. Don't let it sit in the water. Let's get it out of the water. Let's drain it. Let's put it in the refrigerator, and then we can pull it out and use it. Right? I didn't squeeze the water, no. I strained it through a strainer. Yep.
And I know if our dietitians were here, they'd say only in the fridge for 3 days.
Sure.
For food safety.
Chef will tell you 5.
Chef will tell you 5.
Yeah.
Savannah and Blair will tell you 3 if you've been on our high-risk nutrition seminars.
Ah, good.
But
That's a good point. Yeah, fair.
You're in active treatment or on any kind of long-term immunotherapy. Me and Mike might be good on 5, though.
No, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yep, for sure. This does, I mean, with the brine and everything too, that's going to help a little bit. But yeah, 3 days. Follow the advice. Thank you for that. And then we're going to make cashew crema. I believe I've made it here before. I can't remember. Yeah. So again, this is just cashews, unsalted and unroasted. Please, it'll taste better. I soak these overnight in water, and then they get really soft. So soft, right? They're easy to blend up at that point. And then just the apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, water, salt, and garlic. Again, you can go different ways with it. Maybe you want to add some herbs like cilantro or whatever, mint, whatever you want to add. Onions, you can add that. Green onions would be pretty cool in there. Once you taste it, you'll see. But as always, these recipes aren't set in stone. If you're at home and you're working through your pantry and you don't have coriander, it's okay. You can still make this recipe, right? Not a big deal. Just omit it, change it out, whatever you like, okay? So these recipes are always just a good base recipe to get started with something. They're not set in stone. If you don't like something, don't add it. Or if you like something else, feel free to add it, okay? And that goes with anything when you cook, okay? So let's make some cowboy caviar. What we're gonna do, I think I bought enough beans for us today. I'll put some gloves on. You ever try to put gloves on when your hands are wet? It's really hard. And the gloves aren't the right size. Anyway, so we have beans, black beans and black-eyed peas. Traditionally, you're going to see black-eyed peas as the main thing. I like to mix it up a little bit, especially since I didn't have corn. So these are canned. Yeah, no, they're plain. So as far as beans, you can use dried beans. Everybody knows how to cook dried beans, maybe. You can use frozen, thaw them out, right? Or canned. That's your options. Or fresh if you're lucky enough to get fresh black-eyed peas. So I drain the liquid off my beans. I usually do that all the time. just for whatever reason. I don't like all that briny stuff in there anyway. There's different varieties too. You can get low sodium. You can get seasoned ones if you like that. Just plain is good for this. So I've already drained those. It's going to say, drain the beans from the liquid in the cans, whisk together the oil, vinegar, honey, and combine. In a large bowl, combine the ingredients and mix the oil and vinegar dressing. So you can see that's pretty easy. So what we're going to do to get started, we're going to take our red bell pepper. All right. I always cut them. I cut mine in half, try to not waste a lot of good meat. Peppers are expensive sometimes. So we're going to cut it. What we're going to do is we're going to take those membranes out of there. Sometimes they're a little bitter. That's especially important when we get to the jalapeno. There's a lot of heat in those seeds and also in that membrane. So once we take that out, we'll be able to tolerate it and enjoy the flavor. We're going to clean as we go, because when we're cooking at home, that's a big thing. We don't want to make a mess and save it till the end, right? We like to work as clean as possible. Okay. So I'm going to dice. See what I got here, right? We're going to just cut those into strips. Chef knife, I hold my thumb here, my forefinger here, wrap my other fingers around. That's how I hold a chef knife. It gives you more control. If you hold it like this, like some people do, you have a chance to cut your fingers and lose your grip. Okay? Any questions while I'm dicing this pepper? No. Oh, come on. Sometimes. Yeah, not all the time. The question was, when you drain the beans, do you rinse them? And I said, sometimes. But not all the time. I don't think it's super important. I'm sure if you want to get rid of some extra sodium, it's a good idea. There we go. Easy, right? Does anybody not like chopping vegetables? Yeah? What don't you like about it? Maybe your knife is dull. Right tools, right? We were talking about tools earlier, like what tools are important in the kitchen, and sometimes it's hard to cook if you don't have the right tools, and I don't know if you need a lot, so I'm going to hold that thought. The jalapeno I cut in half just like that, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'll get that membrane out of there for us. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need a lot of tools to be a good cook. I don't have, believe it or not, I don't have a ton of things at home. I've downsized too over the years, and especially with my knives and things like that. I've lost so many knives and I never replaced them. But I do have a good sharp chef knife, always, right? Always got to have a sharp knife. Maybe a paring knife, maybe a bread knife, right? Something small and then something serrated. A blender, right? Blenders are good, especially these NutriBullet things that Lauren bought me is really cool. You can do a lot of things with it. So those are good to have around. But I think a lot of times it's just a knife for folks.
Yes, I bought a new chef's knife for my husband.
You told me that.
It makes such
He likes it, right?
Yes, but I use it too.
You use it too?
Yeah.
You sharpen it?
Nope, not yet.
You know how?
My husband does.
Okay, good. How often should you sharpen a knife? It depends on how often you use the knife, really. Working in a professional kitchen, we like to at least put a, called a, I don't know if we have one here, a steel. Yeah. We'll run it over a steel before we start our shift. As far as a good sharpening, I don't know. We probably do it once a week. Depends on the knife too. These German knives, they're notorious for getting dull and hard to sharpen because the metal is so thick. a lot of Japanese knives, which I like. The metal is thinner, it holds a sharper edge, and it's easier to sharpen. That's my opinion. I grew up using German knives and French knives, and always struggled keeping them sharp. They last a long time because the steel is very, very thick, but they're really stubborn to get to a point where they're sharp.
So it sounds like my annual knife sharpening call would be not cutting it.
Oh, you cook about once or twice a year?
I cook every day.
Every day. Okay, Lauren, you need to start sharpening that knife a little more often. So, no, we use like a sharp. The question was, do I use that steel to sharpen my knife? No. You want to use a sharpening stone. Get yourself a stone. They're inexpensive. And sharpen it on the stone. That's just to get a little extra zip every day. Man. Serrated knives? I don't really sharpen them. Occasionally I'll put a steel on it because it'll still have little grooves on it, but I don't worry too much about those. Okay, so there's some jalapenos. I'm not following the recipe because I'm making enough for everybody. So, but follow the recipe. As far as measurements go, I know I told you you don't have to follow the recipe, but as far as measurements go, you should follow the recipe. Okay, ratios, right? Okay. Next, we're going to take these tomatoes. So if you're using cherry tomatoes, I would cut them in half. If you're using Roma tomatoes, I would, chop them up into little bite-sized portions. If you're using a big tomato, if it's summertime and tomatoes are fresh, which is great, I would just go ahead and chop it up. I'm going to cut these in half, if you guys are okay with that. I asked about allergies, right? Nobody has allergies. Other than the cilantro thing, everything else looks good today? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. All right, so we're just going to slice these in half, right? A minute. There are electric sharpeners too, since we're talking about knives here, fill in some time. There are electric sharpeners that work pretty well to get your knife sharp. Maybe Lauren wants to get one. Thinks he's ordering one right now. Amazon Prime. Yeah, electric sharpeners are cool. Stones are good. They're just easy to store. It's one less kitchen appliance. You start investing in things like can openers and all these other toasters, and next thing you know, all your counters are full of stuff, and you got nowhere to work, right? Unless you're fortunate enough to have a really big kitchen with a lot of cabinetry. Okay. Green onion, we're going to throw some of that in there. Can you use red onion? Yep. Yellow onion? Yep. No onion? Yep. Whatever you want. All right. And if you compost, that's a good way to keep all these scraps. So this onion, sorry, I'm just dicing away. I'm just slicing this green onion. I'll show you what I do. When I get to the white part, yeah. So when I get down to the white part, I like to cut them in half, just to. I'm not a huge fan of raw onion. Green onion I don't mind. I don't know why. I just don't really particularly love them. But they're necessary in some things, right? So green onion's going to be good in here. All right, there we go. That looked easy, all right? Mix that in there. Everybody following along? Questions? I like questions. Let me talk about anything. Now's your opportunity. Okay. I pre-sliced some pepper and tomato because there's always that awkward time when nobody's talking as I'm chopping lots of vegetables. So the beans are drained. I'm going to dump those in there. All right? Black beans, black-eyed peas. No, no, that recipe will get you where you. I think that recipe serves 6, but you know that's a meal in itself. If you added the rice component to it as well, you'd be in business. Like that would be a really good meal. Yes. One more time.
I wash my beans
Yes.
before putting them in the anything. Do I need to put some liquid also?
No. No. We're going to make a dressing, a really simple dressing that's going to take care of that. So it's not going to get dry or be dry. Did I get everything in there? Jalapeno? Okay.
People love it, and I do use canned corn.
Uh-huh.
People love it.
I wasn't insulting your canned corn. I just, yeah.
But Chef Mike's fancy. He wants the real deal. But talking about, you mentioned having it for a meal. Well, I've done it too, where I've cooked shrimp, let it cool, and added avocado.
Ooh, see? Yeah.
So good.
Shrimp's a good idea. Chicken, any kind of meat. I'm not a vegan by any means. I try to eat, one meat a day. I mean, I eat one meat a day usually. Sometimes I don't eat meat for a day or two. But as far as these recipes go, we usually try to do vegan recipes. It challenges me too as a chef to think about, cooking healthier and better foods. So that's why we do that. But I'm open to exploring other things with you guys if you guys want to, Shrimp. Yeah, that'd be cool. So I did, we're going to follow the recipe, which I did. I didn't measure anything. Do I ever measure anything? No. But I give you the measurements. So just follow those ratios. And you can see how much I'm making here. So it's a challenge sometimes. That's a funny thing about, cooking here. When we first started, I had about 8 people in class, so it was kind of easy just to follow along the recipe. But now if we want to cook for all these people, I have to really explode the recipe. So I'm just pouring that right on top of that. And we're going to mix it up. It looks nice. It does look really good with corn. It would look really good with shrimp. Yeah. Okay. We're going to let that. Hey, it's going to need some salt too, right? I think I said salt in the recipe. No, I didn't. Okay. Oh, yeah. I don't need that. I'm good. All right. So we're going to put that away. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator just for a minute. Let it cool down till we're ready to eat. Okay. There we go. Awesome. We want to chop up our cilantro for our cilantro friends. Yes. Yeah, you could. You sure could. Yep. Okay, the cashew crema. Let's knock that out real quick. Oh, yeah, that's looking good. Okay. So this is easy. We're talking about equipment. There you go. All right. I like to blend in these things because they blend that way instead of out the top, right? So that's why I like to use that type of blender. That's a NutriBullet. Okay, so cashews, unsalted, unroasted, I find are the best. I've tried the salted. Sometimes it's just too salty. The roasted, sometimes it's a little too toasty. This more resembles, you're trying to get it to taste like a cream. So you don't want that roasty flavor. Personally, I don't. Maybe you do. It wouldn't be bad. Apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, a little water just to help thin it out. Some salt and some fresh garlic are going to go in there. So yes, I did soak these overnight. These actually soaked for 2 days. It's fine. They're only going to get so soft. They're not going to dissolve in water. They're just going to hang out 3 days. So what we're going to do is add those to the blender. All right. Nice and soft. We're going to add our apple cider vinegar. Add our lemon juice. Little trusty lemon squeezer thing. It's pretty cool. Works well. We're going to add our little bit of garlic. Anybody ever make this? Crema? No? Yeah. Can you make it with any kind of other nuts? It's really hard. Like almonds and things, they don't have enough body to them to do any. The cashew gets nice and soft and creamy. It's all about the texture. What else have I used? I've tried the aquafaba method too. I know I introduced you guys to some of that. It's the chickpea brine in the can. That works well as like an egg substitute. I know we've used that before. I think maybe at Christmas or something or maybe Thanksgiving. I don't remember. Oh, way past. Yeah, a long time ago. We can bring that back for something. It's good for like creamy salad dressings and stuff like that. A ranch, Caesar. So you use the aquafaba. That's the bean juice inside the brine with oil and sort of lemon and vinegar and things like that. It emulsifies well, so it comes together and it gets thick as you add the oil. It thickens up, so it's pretty fun to use. But to answer your question, I would stick with cashews for that. Okay, where was I? Lemon juice, water, salt. I'm going to add some water to this. And then we're going to add some salt. Garlic's in there. We're going to put our lid on. Yeah, I put the garlic in there. Raw garlic. Mm-hmm. Sure did. What we don't want it too thin, which it might be. I can add some more cashews. That recipe will get you the right consistency. The only thing, occasionally you have to add more water. That's the only thing you have to look out for. Just going to add a little bit more cashews to get it our desired thickness. Just be patient. There we go. Yep. All right, so you can see we may have to add some more acid. Pretty good. What I'm going to do, I am going to blend it just another second. That'll work. All right. So if you want to try it on your taco, we'll we'll make that happen. Looks good. Okay, moving right along. Okay, it's jackfruit time.
So what else do you serve the cashew creamer that you make in the taco? What else?
So yeah, that can go, nacho bowls or any kind of thing that you normally put sour cream on. Maybe a baked potato, a sweet potato, whatever you normally put your favorite cream on. That works well. Eggs, omelet. All right.
How long can you keep that?
3 days. Everything from now on is 3 days. I've learned my lesson. Yeah. It's a good point. It's a good point. Actually, for as far as restaurants and professional kitchens go, the Department of Health, the people who inspect us, they will say everything in your kitchen has a 7-day shelf life. So that's the rule. If you work in a hospital, we will use a 5-day shelf life for all our food, just out of safety. Okay? Here we go. We're making jackfruit taco. So we talked about jackfruit, dried, canned, frozen, fresh. Fresh jackfruit is very, very sweet when it's ripe. Green jackfruit is not sweet, right? It doesn't really taste like anything. And that's what you want. It's kind of like tofu, right? You're looking at meat substitutes, so you use tofu. Tofu is very bland, right? But tofu, once you marinate it with something else, it takes on that flavor of whatever you marinated with, right? You soak it in soy sauce. Oh, now it tastes like some kind of thing that you would make in a stir fry, right? Same with jackfruit. That's the same kind of principle. So we're using the green, again, green jackfruit works. It's all, you don't want to use sweet jackfruit because then it's going to taste sweet. It's going to taste like you're cooking cantaloupe or something like that, which you don't want to do. And it's going to be too mushy. So the green, you need the green to resemble meat and flakiness. So you'll see that as we get cooking here. So let's just jump into it. I got my skillet, medium heat. We're going to saute onions and garlic until translucent. As always, we're going to toast our spices because that's what we do in this class. We toast our spices because we don't know how old our spices are. They've been sitting on the shelf for a while. They've lost some of their zip. So we like to toast them, bring them back to life, make them a little more vibrant, right? All right. So here we go. We're just going to slice the onion. Take the skin off. Ooh, you guys are quiet.
Can we buy fresh green jackfruit?
Yeah, where? I've seen it everywhere. Publix, Kroger. Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about canned, I'm talking about fresh.
Fresh in the produce department. I've seen them. I'm bad about season with jackfruit. I don't know when it's in season, but I have seen fresh jackfruit. So if you're talking about green fresh jackfruit, no. Sorry, ma'am. I meant fresh jackfruit. I've seen in the produce aisle. I don't recall seeing green. Yeah. So we're just gonna slice this up.
I think you just took that top layer of the onion off. Some people go deeper.
Yeah, I try not to. Yeah, you don't. There's no need for that. Yeah, no need for that. Okay. There's our onion, garlic. We can put a little color on it. I think I said translucent. It's good. We're sauteing that, right? Let's get our spices ready. So we're gonna add, so we got our young onion, we got our garlic cloves. We're gonna do our chili powder, cumin, coriander, smoked paprika, dried oregano, fresh is fine too, a little salt. We're gonna add our jackfruit, and then we're gonna add a broth to kind of let it cook down in the broth a little bit, just to soften it up a little bit more. If I can show you, well, that's working. It's gonna look like this, right? So what we'll need to do is we're gonna have to press it down. I think I put masher on there. If you got a masher, that works well. That looks good. I may use my hands. I don't have a potato masher thing, so we'll try some different ways. Smells good though. All right. Cumin. No, I'm not measuring. Because we know what we're doing, right? Right. Is that how you cook at home? No. Why not? You're a baker? All right. Fair enough. Yeah, I bake once in a while too. Again, guys, with the spices, it's a good idea to add them like now, right? You're going to get the nice dry heat on them. I have a little oil in there for the onions, but it's going to help bring them to life. Maybe don't make chili like once a month. You have all this chili powder or cumin. It's been sitting around. It's dulling down. You don't know how long it's been on the shelf at the store either when you buy it. So unless you're buying really expensive spices, you know, you talk to Chef Kip when she does this. She's pretty fancy with her spices. She buys them online. This place called Burlap and Barrel. If you look it up, Burlap and Barrel. It's I buy some things from them as well. Not everything, but I buy like the black peppercorns from them. It's amazing, right? Black pepper. I love black pepper, but it has to be super fresh for me. And their black pepper is Zanzibar black peppercorns. I guarantee it's the best black pepper you will ever use. But they have all kinds of things. They source sustainably as well. You know, there's a lot of people lives at stake when it comes to anything like that we're buying from, you know, third world countries. They work so hard to get these vanilla pods and make these spices, but a lot of times you don't know the story behind it with like child labor and things like that. So they really dig down deep and figure out where they're buying this stuff from, and it's an important thing. But not everybody can just buy expensive spices all the time online. But anyway, it's just food for thought. You can look it up, check it out. It's pretty neat. Burlap and Barrel. Okay, so we have that going. We're going to add our jackfruit now, right? So you can see, I'm going to cook, so I'm not going to put gloves on. I'm cooking this up, but you can see how it tears, right? It'll tear more once it's cooked. We're going to add it in there. We're going to toss it around and get some color on it. Coat it with the spices. I think you guys are going to like this. It's pretty cool. It's something different, right? That's all it is, something different. Yeah, you can buy it in a can. It works well. I've used the dried before. Man, dried can be very stubborn. It's harder to pull. It comes super dry. We were using it at work. I prefer the can just because of the volume that we cook. It's just easier for us. The dried, you have to soak extra time. It's really, really challenging. So that was just a little bit of vegetable broth. Add a little bit more to that. We're gonna let that just kind of boil away there for a minute. That gets finished with salt, and then we can zest the lime after it's done. What do you guys think? That was pretty easy, right?
Well, you said until it's done. So what are you cooking at? How long are you letting that simmer?
So we're gonna cook this down until it's dry. So we want to evaporate the stock, right? And then we're gonna mash it up a little bit, and then it'll be ready to go. I pre-cooked some for us, so it's gonna be, we can put these tacos together pretty quickly, and then build you guys. What I'll do when we serve, I'll leave the cilantro up top here for you guys to help yourself with, okay? So if you want some cilantro, you can come up and get it. I'm just gonna chop that up real quick. Okay. What other questions about jackfruit? Oh, jackfruit. Okay, so this is only one recipe. You can use this for, jackfruit's good for curries. If you want to make like a jackfruit curry, it's cool. Stir fries, things like that. So it doesn't have to be tacos. It can be anything. A lot of different. You can just Google it up. You'll see there's a lot of different things you can use jackfruit for. I like it. I'm not in love with jackfruit, but I like it. I think it's fun to explore different foods and check things out and see what you think of them. And I don't know. To me. Yeah, like a Hawaiian type of deal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 If you can get like super fancy if you got a smoker at home, you can smoke it. The jackfruit, I bet that would be pretty cool. I've never taken the time. We could do that. Maybe you'll buy me a smoker. That would be a lot of fun. We're gonna let that work. I'm trying to think of anything else. How are we doing on time? We okay? Crushing it. Yeah. So we're letting that cook. All right. Let's take a look at this.
Your last time you were here, what'd you make again? Is that when you brought in basil? Okay.
Kip said she used the basil.
So, you told me you didn't think would be surprised if you could keep it alive. And you said, Chef Mike said it was so easy. I was like, I'll give it a go.
Uh-huh.
Put it in a mug. I told the last crew here who was here for tips. Put it in a mug, watered it. You were here on a Thursday, so I did this on a Friday. I sat it there. I sent it on my blessing on the bookshelf here.
Came back Monday.
Totally forgot that vent blowed on it hard all week.
Oh.
And so when Kip came, it had like two basil leaves, and that was the end of that. But I was like super inspired after that. I was like, maybe we can buy more herbs and I can keep them up there and it'll be cute.
You could do some herbs, yeah, in here. You could do them. That back window would be good.
Yeah,
All the vents, though, yeah. That's too bad.
tried, inspired.
So we're seeing how this is pulling apart, right? The question was, can you chop it before you put it in the oven? Okay, let me show you what's going to happen if you do that. You see these little burnt pieces? Yeah, that's what you're going to get. There's nothing wrong with chopping it a little bit, but you want to, try to have some pieces like that so you have something that you can pull apart.
What is that? That's a jackfruit?
Yeah, this is the oven version.
Oh.
This is as for television. Yeah, we go ahead and cook some things ahead of time. I just want to make sure I had enough food here today for you guys. So. All right. What else? Questions?
Did you start that in the fry pan before you put it in the oven?
This, no, great question. The question was, did I put the oven version in a frying pan? No. What I did was I put it in a bowl. There's a lot of different methods for that. I don't like to do a ton of dishes. So what I did is I got a big mixing bowl like that. After I boiled it and strained it, I put it in the mixing bowl, added all my things, including my onion and garlic, and I mixed them together and laid it on a sheet pan and baked it at 400, right, for about an hour. And that got us where we need to be. That's a good question. 30 minutes? Yeah, you want to go a little bit longer than that. You really want to get some, you're going to have to eyeball it. My oven here is not very good. No offense to Northside in the oven. It doesn't get hot enough, and it doesn't, every oven's a little different. Maybe you have a convection oven, might speed things up a little bit. If not, just, check it at 30 minutes, see where you're at, and then go from there. Sometimes you get a little seed that didn't make the cleaning process, and there's one there. So the jackfruit is full of those seeds, the fresh jackfruit. Yeah.
Peel them and then chop it and put it in the vegetable.
You eat that?
We peel it, the
Oh.
skin, and then I may put it in the, then you can use it.
Raw. Or you cook it?
Not raw, I
Yeah.
cook it.
Okay. Thank you. There's another one. All right. So the seed has a skin on it. Yeah.
Like we have a skin on the garlic,
Mm-hmm.
that's the way then they peel it.
Awesome.
I saw that like we used to get green jackfruit,
Yeah.
fresh one,
Uh-huh.
and it's hard to cut because it's like a sticky on top.
Right.
So the shopkeeper will cut for you and bring it in India.
Okay.
So I saw that, but realized it's never was raw jackfruit.
Okay, so we're getting there here. So at this point, this is where I would start to do a little mashing action, just to break it up. Gives it that. It looks like pulled pork, pulled chicken. Yep. I haven't cooked a ton of jackfruit in my life, but we've been cooking it more recently. Just for fun. Okay. There's nothing wrong with the seeds either. They've been brined in the brine, so they're probably pretty soft. Let's find out. Oh yeah, they're soft. We can eat the seeds. All right. You can see that's looking pretty good. Looks like we're sauteing some pulled pork, right? Yep. All right, we're gonna dump that on there. That's a nice new skillet Lauren just bought me. Kudos, thank you. We always like new equipment. Okay. Not gadgets. No, we don't want too many gadgets. So what we're going to do is zest the lime, right? Or you can do it like this. It's probably easier. We'll just fold it in. We'll squeeze the juice too. We're not going to just use zest. We don't want to waste good lime juice. Hope you guys like these tacos. I'm kind of hungry. Does smell good, doesn't it? Yeah. Somebody said they smelled it down the hallway too.
I did not smell the hallway.
Yeah, it's another reason why I like to cook ahead of time, kind of get everybody hungry. I'm gonna do 2 limes because we got extra here. Time's okay? All right. So once we finish this, we're going to season it. We're going to taste it. I'm going to taste it. And then I'm going to do a show plate for our friends watching us live at home. And then we'll go ahead and put these together. This is called a microplane, if anybody's wondering. It's a good tool for zesting. It does it the best. Sometimes you get the other. Maybe you guys use these things. Woo, that's a job. Yeah, it tears up the flesh, makes it bitter. Microplane, pretty cool. I would invest in that gadget. Not a lot of gadgets, but a microplane is really good. We use it a lot here in this class. We'll probably have to season that with some salt. Just gonna mix it up. All right. Questions right now? Guys are quiet today. I think I say it.
Need the zest and you just want a lemon juice or a lime juice.
Uh-huh.
Fresh, they have these little jars of lemon juice or lime, is that stuff?
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. The question was if you just need lemon juice or lime juice, can you buy it in a jar? Sure. Nothing wrong with that. We're not going to judge you. No, we're not going to judge you. We don't judge with food, right? I know some people do, but I don't judge people for what they buy or how they buy or, the situation they're in with food. I think food's pretty special to everybody, no matter, I grew up eating like Hamburger Helper, right? Stuff like that. I don't know. Yeah, I think we all did, right? Tuna Helper. I was watching this show called Yellowstone. Maybe some of you have watched it before, but the lady, she didn't cook a lot because she grew up with a family chef, right? He took care of everybody, but first night at home with her husband, she made Tuna Helper with Hamburger Helper box mix. He gobbled it up. He said it was great, but it was fun. That's what I think about when I hear that. It's funny. I think we nailed it, guys. Okay. So yeah, it's just important when you're working with jackfruit. You want to incorporate spices and flavors and things like that. You don't want to eat a green jackfruit. Basically, what I'm saying. You have to do something with it. Just like tofu, you have to add some sort of spice, some sort of seasoning to really make it taste good. Okay? Question. Just to show people something different. And you're right. These meat alternatives, guys, if you're shopping for them, they're a lot of them are not cheap, right? And that's a very good point. But I also think it's fun to introduce people to new things once in a while. You didn't pay for the jackfruit, I did. So we're going to eat it. We're going to check it out, see what it's like, just for fun. It's not over the top expensive, but it can get pricey, right? That's a very good point. And that's a lot of things, like even seitan and just different meat substitutes. The Impossible Burger, Beyond Burger. I'm not throwing them out there or anything, but those meat alternatives are expensive. And we deal with that, in the food service world, as people demand more vegan options, it's hard for chefs to run a business because the price point is so high on a lot of those things. I might pay $8, $9 a pound for Beyond Beef, when burger meat is what, $2, $3 a pound for me. Yeah. So you can see there's a lot of challenges with that. Now, I think as population grows and people show more interest in food like this, it helps bring costs down, just like anything. People are making more of it. Jackfruit is definitely, there's a lot of them. I read online where it's almost invasive in Brazil or something, because there's so many plants, and the fruit in the forest just drops to the ground, all this fruit, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of jackfruit just laying there rotten. Animals eat it. You know, they discard the seeds, and more jackfruit trees grow. You guys are ready to eat, so I'm not gonna go into major descriptions, but yeah, there are challenges to eating vegan. But what I will say is, and what we do where I work, is we try to explore more whole foods as far as meat substitutes. A lot of what I do is I cook with lentils. You know, we made the lentil taco here. You guys are familiar with that. Man, that's affordable. You know, now you're talking, right? We can afford that. You know, making veggie burgers and things with whatever you have. You know, even if it's a portobello, grilled portobello sandwich or something like that. You know, dietitians will tell you, you know, you got to have a good balance of things. You can't just eat vegetables. You need some sort of protein and fiber and things like that too. So that's important. All right, I'm going to make a taco for people to see online. Oh, get the salad. All right. Yeah, cool. Okay. So what I would do with that is put some crema on there. That's going to be good. Some cilantro. That's kind of nice. Everybody's so patient. Thank you. Yep. Pretty good. Okay.
Thank you for joining Cancer Support Community Atlanta for this program. If you're interested in other live or recorded programs, please visit the online program tab of our website, cscatlanta.org, or follow us on Facebook. We'll be sharing additional information on upcoming programs.